Hello? Apparently the audio dropped there. And the video's gone too. Lovely. How long has that been going on for, I wonder? It's just never ending. Hello? Apparently the audio dropped there. Oh. And the video's gone too. Lovely. Yep. Audio's back. I assume it hasn't been gone for too long. It's just a shit show. It's not me, man. It's OBS. Or the internet or whatever it is. OBS should just auto reconnect. Can we reset the camera? This is awesome. I wonder who sets up other streamers' devices, because it's like, yikes, yo. Hello. Oh, okay, we're back. Awesome. Here's the smart thing to do. Let's put the audio mixer so it's always visible. And then I can at least have a visual indicator if it goes out. That will help a lot. And I will put the chat somewhere else. There we go. And that should help at least a little bit. So stuff like that happens, I can tell. So that's just how it is. Okay. Game audio is working. Our IRL audio is working. Video is working. So disappointing. Luckily, we have Pink Pukey Ghost to cheer us up. He tried to use the Pepto-Bismol, but it did not help. I just puking Pink instead. Maybe we're supposed to click on those ghosts. That guy is like furious. Look at him. Oh, I'm possessed. Once again. Ghost collecting now. Spirit of puke. I think that's where we came from. Might take a break soon anyways. It's like so many issues. I gotta take a little pressure breaks. I'm not Hasanabi yet. I can't do the 8-hour, 16-hour streams, whatever people do. Give me more pukey ghosts. Give them to me. Aha! do I feel like I'm having a heart attack? Oh, that's the ominous music. What happened? Oh yeah, step on him, yeah. Closer. Okay, guess that's over. Just keep biking, just keep biking. Let's talk to him. Looks like a font of wisdom, maybe. He has no head, but he has a mouth, stomach, face thing. Some kind of demon. Let's stab him. Got the eye palm on him. Nope. What does an eye demon, whatever it is, want? Yeah, get him. Oh, I regret doing that. Traffic light will surely. Nah. Will surely not. I'm just gonna guess you need like food or something, right? But let's make it snow. Although if I were doing the like hand covering the face, like you know what bothers me? Is that everybody it always rips on Sykkuno covering his face when he laughs, and I'm like, who cares? Like everybody has dumbass ticks. It's like, oh, because it's slightly different from the normal. Not that there's any such thing as that in my opinion, honestly. Like everybody has like dumbass stuff. It's just people don't point it out. I don't care. There's a lot worse things people can do that annoy me. It's so funny. And people usually complain about sort of like half a joke, but it's like really annoying. Or like one, oh, we've been here before. We couldn't get over this side. Yeah, like one streamer that I watched, and I won't say who it is, but they were like, oh, Sykkuno got 1 million viewers, and then he like pretended, or he claimed that he pretended that he didn't notice. And I'm like, maybe he just didn't notice, man. If it happens all in one day, it's like a big event, you're probably not going to notice. I mean, who cares? Like, do you really pay attention to you have 1 million? It's like if you have like put it in my mind, once you've got like 500, even like a lot, you're just like, that's a lot. Like I find it hard to imagine someone counts them after that. It's just like, well, who cares? You can make a living doing it. It's like, what else do you want? It's like, sure, more can happen, but it's like, whatever. Like, I think Sykkuno does care about trying to stay or become more popular, but like, I don't know. Like, you know, everyone's like, oh, I'm just a small time streamer as a hobby. And like, that's fake. And I'm like, yeah, everybody sort of does career stuff or whatever, but I do believe there's like varying degrees to it. Not there's necessarily anything wrong. I guess it can be bad. If people are so focused on their career that they do like questionable stuff, like questionable sponsorships are obviously like, okay, that's not good. Or, you know, they act like a dickhead to get like views or something. I feel like that's just, like for me, I wouldn't watch something like that or whatever, right? But there's like varying degrees. Like there's like Wade, who's on Markiplier's show. They do 3 beans in a pod and what some they have another name for it, like a different podcast they do. Distractables, yeah, that's it. And I feel like Wade is definitely probably the most popular streamer who gives like strong vibes of not trying to be popular. And maybe he also is out there trying to boost his career secretly and he's just acting humble and like there's actually nothing wrong with that because all human beings do that to some degree. But like I would say he's probably on the scale of like less career focused. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just misreading it. I don't know. I also don't really care until like pretend like Sykkuno's being too fake. I think is really stupid. I mean, like, maybe he sincerely just doesn't watch that counter because why bother? Maybe he has a life, you know? It's like Kuno pretends like he doesn't have a life. He has a lot of people he can like hang out with and shit. Aside from just gaming all the time, which I'm sure he enjoys. It's like a social activity. Who have I been? I've been watching. Who's the guy who does the hardcore Pokemon Nuzlocke? Yawn. Yeah, is that his name? Yawn. Yan. He's the German guy. He's just blew up recently doing hardcore Pokemon Nuzlocke. I've been watching him a little bit more. He's kind of just starting, so he's a little rough around the edges, but I think it's pretty fun content. Hardcore Pokemon Nuzlocke are funny because if you make one mistake, it can like totally destroy the entire run. It's like that constantly, and I'm just like, oh my god, so funny. I think the idea that he always puts forward is like you can watch me to improve your own Nuzlocke, and you're probably not going to be doing Nuzlocke that are as hard as his, but like the advice from the hardcore helps you do like the more medium level difficulty, which yeah. So I think people like to watch for that. They get a little bit of advice and they're into it, so they like watching the high stakes. It's pretty awesome. The guy also has awesome shirts. Always has like a good shirt on. Different shit all the time. He throws out these funny stories about like his exes though, which are just like, man, I was such a dickhead or whatever. And I'm like, okay, you think so? It's funny. Hello, sir. Please communicate with me. Maybe I should try a different costume. So this is like a slum or whatever, right? It's kind of interesting. I don't think Japan has slums like this. Maybe I'm wrong. Roy here looks very dejected. Yeah, big surprise, we're in a slum. It's hardly a shocker. Yeah, I heard a stat recently. My brother told me it, so I don't know. Like, I'm sure he didn't like hardcore check to see if it was true. So, I think it could definitely be true. So, it was like there is more wealth inequality in the world right now than any other civilization in history, except for the Egyptians. Are the only people who had higher wealth inequality than we do currently, like globally speaking. So we're only slightly better than Egyptian times when it comes to like people having access to like wealth and stuff. Of course, if you live in North America, it's easy to pretend like you're in a bubble and the rest of the world doesn't work like that. But unfortunately, that's kind of bullshit because America uses a lot of resources to ensure that it has control over everyone's economy. The IMF Bank, the World Bank, and they're like loans that use austerity. So they'll give out a loan to a small country with like really um, stringent guidelines about how they can spend the money, i.e., don't spend it on the people at all. And it's just basically a way to keep their capitalism rolling in that country, so they don't destabilize and they don't want people getting any funny ideas or spreading leftism for sure. And of course, everybody deals in American dollars. So if you cross America, they take away your debit machine basically, and you can't trade. They prevent you from trading U.S. dollars, and you can't trade with any other country. And worse, even than that, like if you have a country that's sanctioned, like Cuba is a classic example, and another country goes and trades with Cuba, the U.S. will threaten or even make good on their threat to force the trading country to also get sanctioned by the U.S. And they basically bully everybody into make an example of countries that don't act American enough, i.e., let American money in so they can control everything and suck the money out without passing it around to anybody. Resource extraction, right? The lithium mining's taking a lot of flack because it's basically they're doing that. It's like, yeah, it's good energy, but at the end of the day, you're not spreading the wealth around to other countries. That's kind of... Has anyone watched The Rings of Power, I wonder? It's like... Did anyone watch The Rings of Power, and did they notice, or at least felt that the King Elf dude looked a hell of a lot like Jeff Bezos? Yeah. And if you think I'm wrong with that, I think you're blind, personally. I think it's done on purpose. And they're trying to get the crystal thing, the mithril from the dwarves. But it just reminded me so much of like lithium mining. It's like a hot topic. And I guess I can only assume they're trying to frame it so that you know, it's like, oh, you can have, you know, good interactions between the leaders, and like the dwarves and the elves both benefit. Bullshit, of course. We've been here before, so we're gonna teleport out. I think we missed a lot of power-ups, but I'm not really gonna try to get them all. I'll probably watch a walkthrough or like a let's play and see if there's any good content at the end. And if there's worth collecting everything, I might come back. We'll see. Yeah, I'm gonna take a quick break here. Just a short one. Hello. Okay, it's working. It's still working good. You never know these days. I'm gonna get really out of shape eating all this like Christmas junk food, but whatever. I like to do VR boxing. That's how that's my new cardio strength exercising thing. It's really awesome. I do like thrill of the fight. Um, it's just like super fun way to work out that it's like once you're like decently your cardio is good enough that you can do it for a couple of minutes, it's super rewarding. And because it's like a game, it's a lot easier to do the workout because it distracts you from the fact that you're working out, right? Okay, let's go a little bit further. Some tea going. I have to drink green tea now because my teeth are bad. Told you I wasn't a rich man going through school. Everyone else had way more resources than I did. In the ass. Super bad. I can only have green tea now. But I got some good green tea though. It's the Japanese style, which I didn't really like at first, but I kind of got more into it. It has like a seaweed taste. It's almost creamy, which is weird. But it's kind of an acquired taste, but you know, it's not bad. Oh, numbers. Is this the computer? Are we inside the computer? Let me click on these now. Oh, there's like numbered pathways. Yo, hands up, sucker. Let's stab him. Stab him. Do we have other options? Is there anything else? Is this ghost? He's like blocking a door though. Knife. Oh yeah, get got. Get out of my way. That's what you get. Okay. And this is where the horror game part comes in. Oh, I got money for it. As if it wasn't messed up enough already. You know we gotta go through here though, right? So far the knife has been the only useful thing. Come on. There's more to life than stabbing. Love how they have a little screen. That's extra awful. This reminds me of this is an obscure reference, but oh, what's it called? It's like one of the earliest first-person shooter games. It was like the first one for the Macintosh. People are calling it like a Doom clone. I don't remember what it's called. Let me look it up on my phone. Pathways into Darkness. That's what it was called. I didn't beat it, but I tried to play a bit of it. Okay, before we stab this thing, let's try. Oh, you just take off doing that. Well, didn't work. I guess we try stabbing. Worked so far. Hey, check. All this just a step on a base. What did you want out of life? Deep metaphor in here somewhere. What the heck? There's nothing to do here. The only thing I know how to do is stab. That's all I've been taught. Eye palm. How many secrets are in this game, I wonder? Let's freeze them. Take that. That's what you get. Sure there's something to do here. Just such is life. Well, I'm teleporting out of here because Yeah, he wants to stab their way back. Not me. I hope the audio is pretty well balanced. Just trying to get that working, but you know. Let's see. I think this might be the last one we haven't visited. I'll probably look up some stuff about this game to see if there's some really important stuff I missed, or maybe this is the whole experience, just these little dream worlds, which is pretty cool so far. I like it. It's quite a vibe. It feels like intimate to this character, but without being like self-absorbed. You know, pretty cool. I love stepping on stuff that makes noises. Simple man, simple needs. And you get like musical note blocks in your house in real life to do this. That'd be weird. Probably a little weird. You know, in the Scandinavian countries, you know how I harp on how amazing they are. They have like little musical notes play when you like recycle stuff to reward you, and it actually encourages people to recycle more. It's like a scientific thing. You know, they test it and they're like, "Yep, it definitely helps." Yeah, of course, in Americans, they gotta make everything painful. American culture is essentially sadistic. I can say that because my dad's American, so I'm like half American. Not that I'm saying you can't rip on America if you're not American. Power to you. Fucking lot to rip on there. I'm sure there's some positives, but I don't even bother to bring them out because Americans are puffed up enough as they are, and they've done a lot more harm than they will ever admit. Did I really go on and on about that? Let's start with the tremendous history of slavery. Which, yeah, every country had slavery around that time, but countries did not have the same proportion of slaves to everybody else. The same, like, ginormous system of money making around it, and a sense of honor and status and trying to own as many slaves as you can. And other countries did not require a civil war to get rid of it. Like in Britain, they just eventually decided, hey, this is really shitty and it doesn't really make sense with, like, constitutional like ideas of how people should be treated, and it doesn't make sense with their own idea of Christianity. It's like, oh, aren't all men supposed to be created equal? Not that I'm trying to defend Christianity too much, because Christianity has also been used as an excuse for doing slavery. I will say, though, that there was a fair amount of Christians that used that thinking to promote the idea that slaves should be free at the time, so I guess in that one field, I'll just give some credit where it's due. Yeah, that's the one thing. U.S. has had, at the peak of its slave owning, had more slaves per capita than any culture ever in history. It's crazy. Here's another fun fact. The U.S. also has more prisoners per capita, so per person, not in total, not just due to population, but per person, they've had more prisoners than any other society ever in history since the dawn of time. The U.S. is a prison state, but we pretend like, oh, thanks to, you know, the economy's so good, the world is just better. Thank God we don't live in the dark ages. Oh, lolzer. And you could die from getting a sneeze back in those days. By the way, no one has access to Medicare in the U.S. like at all. If you lose your job, then you can straight up just die. Are you blocking me, sir? Okay. Wreak vengeance upon thee. Yeah. So there you go. Those are my two beefs. Probably the major beefs. Prison state thing and the hierarchical society thing that America does. Oh, and people are like, well, that stuff's long over. Here's another fun fact. There is more segregation between different races now in the U.S. than there was before the Civil Rights Movement. And it's because of economic policies designed to segregate people. People don't realize that. It's like it's not gotten better, it's gotten worse. It's just so institutionalized now that people can't even talk about it. It's like baked into economic policy and law, and it's essentially hidden. Well, it's not hidden so much, it's like it works without anyone ever having to overtly say anything. Go watch Adam Conover, you'll probably find out more about that. Adam Conover has a whole video on redlining policy. I mean, everybody knows that. It's a common thing. That's just one video that I remember off the top of my head. Anybody who actually cares to learn about any of that doesn't want to just be told that, oh, my country must be the best. Obviously, I live here. Of course it's the best. If it wasn't the best, I'd have to feel personally bad about it. Here's the thing, too. Like, I will give some points to Western culture stuff where it's due. I like the widespread use of the printing press. I like the expansion of the internet. And I like the amount of like written literature that was produced during the Enlightenment. Those are my few points that I give. But the West has done a lot of warfare compared to other cultures. Generally speaking, there's exceptions, but yeah, there's plenty of other negatives too. I'm not going to keep going on to them right now, but they're pretty easy to, find out and bring to light. They're at hand quite easily. You can find a lot of shit. The obvious one's the British colonial empire, but I'm not going to go on. It's a whole other topic. So yeah, I'll give credit where it's due. The problem is that a lot of it's just kind of nasty. And people are like, "Oh, that's the price you pay for advancement." It's like, nah. People just like technology, gadgets, and stuff. It's no big achievement to spread, toilets and gizmos and stuff. Inventing it is hard, right? For someone to come up with the idea, but like spreading it to other people, that happens automatically. It's not an accomplishment. People love cigarette lighters and stuff because you can control fire, put it in your hands, and then it spreads everywhere. But people don't have the guts to make sure that it's used in a way that actually benefits people. Because there's a lot of power to be had forcing poison onto other countries. There's no better example than that than the U.S. Weapon manufacturing industry, which is I believe it's 3 to 4 trillion or something like that. It might even be higher, right, per year, spent in manufacturing guns, which the U.S. sells to dictators and stuff in poor countries, essentially selling their citizens poison. They can't say no. It's only the rich people who can buy those guns and distribute them. The U.S. does even worse, in my opinion, is they donate guns to other countries to destabilize them. And then now their gun stock is low and they tax the citizens to refill it, creating demand in their own country. That's exactly what happens in Ukraine. People are like, oh yeah, you should donate weapons to Ukraine. That's a good thing. You're essentially forcing them. They can't say no. Zelensky isn't going to say no. And who's to say that it represents what people actually want? It's like there's no elections going on right now. And they get this poison essentially dumped in their own country. There's nothing more, the second worst thing would be to, force cheap booze onto all the citizens, because it would, poison them to death, like the Tsars did in Russia. The Tsars were famous for, essentially poisoning their own citizens to keep them weak by, monopolizing booze and selling it aggressively to peasants. and getting them addicted. The US does that, but with guns. It's like, the guns are the worst. They provide absolutely no bonus. Like, it's no different than the British, like, forcing opium onto fucking China forever and ever, as they've done. Which is some of the worst things that has ever been happened in history. It's no different than the US donating guns. It's worse, because guns are, in a way, they're worse than opium. Like, how is it any better? It's far worse. Finally found a door. Took a while. Oh, here we go. We got some pyramids representing power and some blood. It's right topical of what I was talking about, apropos. But we also have more blocks. One step on, so that sounds a little annoying. Oh, I'm not even allowed to go off of these blocks. Okay, it's fine. Hello? Yeah, the audio's still working. Getting paranoid now. Hello? Oh, not this again. Back in the cells, baby. Along the bloodstream, capillaries, corpuscle land. Is there anything here to find for me? Maybe. It's pulsing. Yeah, I don't know. To me, this is like the bloodstream. The little blood cell moving along, keeping everything pumping, pulsing. We've been here before. We just found like a dude, so it wasn't really. I don't know if we're gonna find anything else, to be honest. This is a great game for like chilling out and vibing and just going on a journey and talking about shit. It's not as plot heavy as Omori, but that's kind of pretty much what I expected. Oh, a dead end. I think it's time. It's time, folks. Time to go back. Hit the old niner. Oh, wait, it doesn't work. Oh, yeah. I don't know why it didn't work. Save. That might have been the last door. The stream is probably going to end here, but I have a bunch of other stuff lined up for later. Remember, if you want me to stream longer, then subscribe to the stream, and I will buy myself a better chair, which will give me endurance points. It's like The Sims, right? This is like a really shitty metal. Suppose I could borrow my brother's, but right now. Let's go see if there's any other doors, because if there is, we'll try to finish that up. If there isn't, I think this is where the stream's going to end. And I will look up some more about this game. We might play it again later. But in the meantime, I'll probably play something else. I think that was the last door. I'm sure there's something to unlock here, but I feel like I've gotten at least most of the complete experience. But I'll still look up some more about it to see if there's some cool stuff to find. Yeah, so that's the last door. That means we're going to be done here. As per usual, I suppose I'll chat about stuff I might do later. Of course, Mother 3 or Earthbound 2, whatever you want to call it, is I want to finish that. I've got the save, so we don't have to restart. That's on the list. The Blade Runner game that I started randomly on a whim, I might do more of. I always wanted to beat it, and I don't think I ever have, so that would be cool. The dialogue in Blade Runner is a little on the cheesy side, and it's a little silly, but the atmosphere is amazing. The investigative gameplay is very realistic and cutting edge. The world building is so good. It's actually one of the few video games based off of movies that is actually really good. That's definitely on the list. Hopefully the dialogue's not so cheesy that it's too big of a turnoff, but I don't think it's too bad. Yeah, there's the other idea. I want to talk about Andor because I love it so much. That's the new Star Wars TV series that came out. But I've never done that yet, so I have to come up with a format that makes sense and is fun. My brother is a huge fan of Andor, even more than I am. So yeah, it's a lot of reasons for me to do that, but we'll see. I have to come up with a good idea. I don't know what the rules are, like how much you can clip of a TV show to show on live. But I like to put in some clips to make it more visual and interesting for anybody watching, for all you guys. What else? I, why not? Let's look at the other games I have on my list before we check out. Um, I've got plenty, but I don't know anything I'm gonna seriously consider doing. Jet Set Radio is a choice. I would love to play Jet Set Radio Future, but I find it's difficult to emulate. Oh, it's supposed to be easy. Lisa is another excellent choice. Um, Actually, let's go open up my Steam thing here. You can see what actually we got. Jet Set Radio, yeah. Lisa is an excellent choice. It's also very similar to Amori. I played a lot of it, so I'd have to start from the beginning, which I'm cool with, but I don't think I beat it though, so that would be good. Red Strings Club, it's a good choice. This is probably a shorter game that's like a little less serious, which is a good choice. Um, Grim Fandango. Um, I do really want to play it because it's amazing, so that might be on there. Disco Elysium is like a hyped game that I will definitely do at some point, but I do want to make sure I'm in the right mood because it's quite long, and I also want to make sure that I have the time to finish it because I don't want to break it halfway. Like even Earthbound kind of sucked to do that with because I like it a lot. Cloudpunk is a chill game that would be like a pretty good choice. I don't think the story is like amazing in it, but the atmosphere is good, and it's probably a good one for relaxing too. Um, it's got some cool societal issues that it brings to light in an artistic way, brings people's attention to that. Bioshock is dystopia America, done the best in video games ever. It's an ugly game, but it's not too big a deal. Yeah, 2064, pretty good. I played a lot of it, but I could consider playing that one. It's just the thing is, I think I almost beat it, so I probably be like a total replay. I played it fairly recently, so yeah. What else do we got? Let me pop over my GOG now as well. It doesn't let me do that. Normally it does. Huh. Oh yeah, here it is. So we got some choices in here. We've got Beneath the Steel Sky. You guys see my cursor? Yeah. We've got Blade Runner, of course, which I have been playing, and I'm pretty sure I'll continue that. I have a lot of first-person games because I like playing through the history of first-person shooters, but I don't really consider them too streamable because they're not story-focused. But I'd consider doing it if everyone wants to watch it. Outer Worlds is a huge, definite, definite possibility. Planescape Torment is high possibility. It's up there with Disco Elysium because it's very story focused and it's very weird. And it's like considered very like cutting edge in a lot of ways. Definitely want to try that. Yeah, there's probably a ton more in here. I'm not gonna go over every single one, but there's probably other stuff I have as well. Signalius, but yeah, we can't wax lyrical on that forever. I think that's it. That should give you a good idea of where this stream is probably going in the near future. Uh, I like playing wacky games that are a little out there. Hopefully, give you a different experience and get you thinking differently, get me thinking differently because that's what I'm here for. I want something that's a little uh, pulls me outside the normal everyday. Maybe you learn something, or it's an experience though, kind of thing, like a real experience. That's usually what I'm trying to get. Yeah, I think that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.